Hey, gun people. If you watched my other crazy cop story on DA marrying a juror, I didn't have a towel over the skunk, so I went in and put a towel over the skunk, and I'm going to put another towel before I put him in a truck and load him up and take him out to the lake. I know a lot of people say kill these little guys, but and they'll eat my eggs, and they are kind of destructive, but you know what? They're just out here trying to make a living. I'm kind of in their area, and there's a lake not too far away with not a lot of people, so if I let them out by the lake, they can eat rats, mice, snakes. They're all in a circle of life. So that's why you see a towel in there, and the last one you didn't see a towel. So this is going to be a crazy cop stories on when I was working welfare fraud, and there was 2 incidents on this. So welfare fraud is one of those jobs that when you tell people you're investigating it, if they're not on welfare, they love you. If they're on welfare, they hate you, they'll lie to you, they'll obstruct your investigation, they won't cooperate. So when you're working welfare fraud, you know, yin and yang, good and bad, you know, if you're dealing with people not on welfare, man, they're the greatest people in the world. Yeah, you go get the welfare fraud. Yeah, you're great. But if you're dealing with witnesses and everything that are on welfare, they're like, I don't want to talk to you, get out of here. You guys are trying to take my money, you're the government, blah, 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 blah. So when you work around people who give out welfare, when you go to the welfare office, first of all, it's government, so that tells you it's a liberal. Government likes to protect government. Government likes to pass rules and laws for them to make money. Government likes to secure their job. So government employees are all part of the system. In the welfare office, there ain't no such thing as a conservative or people that don't believe in welfare and that think people are abusing it. Welfare fraud is out of stinking control. Most average citizens don't have a clue because the liberal media won't cover it. They won't cover the corruption and all this theft, and all they do is cover the poor welfare person sitting out there with no money, no food, and we got to help them, and they got 14 babies with 14 different baby daddies, and it's not their fault, and we need to do it for the kids. So that's the liberal media. The real side is, man, the fraud is just crazy. I mean, I was never so disgusted with the government and the way we waste money as when I was working welfare fraud. LA County, Los Angeles, down in Southern California, they have so much welfare fraud, they have a complete division, a team, a separate division that only does cases over $250,000 in fraud. Now you would think if somebody was ripping the government off for $250,000, it might make the news a little bit. Welfare fraud. LA County has a complete team that will only work those cases. They will not do any other cases because it's below the threshold. Then they have another team, $100,000. We don't work any cases unless it's $100,000. If it goes over $250, we give it to these guys. If it's under $100, we give it to the other guys. But if it's between $100 and $250, we'll work it. So that's just one city, one liberal-ass city, probably a damn sanctuary city, with liberal views, and that's how much welfare fraud, and nobody ever hears a word. I mean, how can somebody think that the government is so incompetent that they have a special team, and there's probably teams in New York that probably won't work a welfare case over 1 million. More people and more fraud. So, I mean, there's really no deficit in welfare fraud to commit welfare fraud because you just can't enforce it. There's so many loopholes, so way around it. I mean, we were just kind of like putting our finger in the dam every once in a while. It really didn't make a difference. That's why a lot of people didn't like to do it because they didn't penalize them. Let's say I catch a woman committing welfare fraud. Dad's in the house. She's got 3 different kids. She lied. They're not her kids. They're her sister kids. Both her and her sister are getting made for the same kids, and they're ripped off for thousands of dollars. We do the case. We spend all this manpower, investigative hours. We find out that she's ripped us off for $50,000, and her sister's ripped us off for another $75,000. You know what the penalty is? Okay, we're going to drop their welfare checks by $10 a month so they can start paying back what they didn't take. That's a penalty. I mean, I used to look at these people like they got 2 heads, like, are you kidding me? We just spent thousands of man hours and money investigating this. we've got a great case, and your solution is we're going to take $10 a month, they're going to stay on aid, they're going to keep getting it. Well, Rick, you know, not everybody's a right-wing crazy guy like you that believes in law and order. These people need their money, and we just can't take their money. It's for the kids. We can't take money from the kids for what the parents did. So we're going to make them pay it back. And they're going to pay it back $10 a month, and we're going to make sure they pay it back because we're going to deduct it from their welfare. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So welfare fraud is out of control, but I guess I just kind of want to set you up to the frustrations of working with people with the mindset that the poor liberals are the victim. They're going to vote Democrat. They're going to vote liberal. They're going to give all these government employees that work in the welfare, giving out welfare, they're going to give them job security. They're going to give them supervisors to promote to. They're going to make the department of giving out welfare bigger. And, you know, it's all good, Rick. It's all good. Don't be over here spoiling the party because it ain't our money and it ain't your money. Relax. Freaking taxpayers in America are the stupidest people in the world. So, I'm working in a welfare, we're in a welfare office, and again, they don't really like cops. They tried to get us to where we couldn't carry guns in the building because they said it intimidated their clients. They call all these people their clients. I'm like, you fucking lazy welfare rats not working, coming in here having babies. All they got to do is sit home and screw and make babies, and you give them money to have babies. And somehow they're the victim. So, obviously say, I'm not a big guy for hanging out with liberals in the first place, but working with welfare people, that's all there is liberals. But every once in a while, you'll get a worker that's conservative, but she has to keep her mouth set. So I had a couple of workers that believed in law and order and didn't buy into that stupid, crazy, liberal land, la crazy philosophy. And they would always be giving me shit on the side, but I could never say they gave it to me because then they would get fired by the liberal people in charge for helping me stop welfare fraud. They didn't even want welfare fraud. The DA's office actually had to take over welfare fraud from them because they were telling investigators, stop arresting people, stop doing fraud, you're harassing our clients. So they were paying people good money to be cops, to sit in the office and not investigate things because they didn't want their clients harassed by the police. So welfare fraud was pretty much legalized. Kind of like you can't enter the country without a passport illegally because that's a violation of immigration, and the government says, no problem, come on over, we'll give you same. Same thing. They ignore laws, the liberals ignore laws they don't really agree with, and they don't care because it's not their money, because they want to destroy the damn country anyway. But anyway, so most of the people in there. So one time, this girl comes over, and she gets me out of the office and goes, hey, there's a guy out here that's kind of yelling, and he's kind of violent, and he's kind of threatening the worker. Well, the workers would never call the police on any of their clients because that would be, Rick, you don't understand, they're in hard times and they've got to be able to vent and we're trying to help them, but they're going to be frustrated, Rick, and you should be more in touch with your pink side and just enjoy that we're helping them and we should be able to assist them and not want to arrest them for ripping off the government, lying and stealing. Why do you want to be a hard ass, Rick? So she comes in and tells me, hey, this guy's got a client. So I kind of go around the corner and I'm kind of listening in case the guy freaks out because welfare people, just because they're getting welfare, a lot of them are in crimes, a lot of them are convicted felons, a lot of them bring weapons in the building. I mean, they had metal detectors, they had an armed security guard up front. So, I mean, the people that come in the welfare office aren't, you know, super clean, nice people all the time, most of the time. So I'm listening outside the office and all of a sudden I hear wham! Papers come flying out of the office. So I go around the corner like, what the? And this dude had just whacked her and was standing up yelling and screaming. So I'm like, oh shit. And I could tell she's holding her face and he hit her. So I like grab him and he resists and he fights. So I throw him on the ground, get his handcuffs on him, and I arrest him. Oh my God. You would think that I went out and freaking burnt down the national forest and clubbed penguins. I mean, it was just, the director was upset, the supervisor, everybody was complaining. This brute cop came in and arrested our poor client because he was frustrated. The girl that got hit was like, no, I didn't tell him to arrest him. You know, he hit me, but it was okay. I was like, he freaking assaulted you in a building that I'm standing next to. I said, he's going to jail. Oh, so they called my chief, and my chief's like, what do you want me to do, man? The guy assaulted her, he committed crime. He's a cop, he arrested him. He goes, I don't understand what the problem is. Oh, well, well, you know, he shouldn't be arresting people in the building. If you need to arrest him, you need to arrest him outside, because it scares our other clients, and then they won't want to come in and ask for money, and they're going to think they're going to get arrested. I'm like, if you ain't hitting people, you probably won't get arrested. So that's a crazy crazy welfare story. Another one was one worker, one of my little snitches, I call her a snitch. She was a good person. I appreciate her giving me info, but she didn't play that shit. So there was a guy in there, and she overheard them talking. I mean, and these workers, you got to realize their mindset, that level, they would tell these people how to lie. They would tell them how we investigate. They would tell them what to say when they contacted. Hey, if they contact you, you need to say you have the right, and don't say this. And if he asks if the dad's in the home, you need to say no, because if he's in the home and he finds out, he's going to stop your aid. So they would actually coach these people how to get out and how to cheat and rip off the system. I mean, it's just crazy. People won't believe it, and they'll be like, that doesn't happen. It happens at every welfare office up and down the country every day. So this lady comes to us, hey man, I heard these guys, and they're talking about hiding drugs, and they got drugs on them, etc. And I go, really? So I go, what's their name? So I grab their name, I run them through. The dude's on probation. I'm like, he's on searchable probation for drugs. I said, I'll just go search his ass. So I walk in there. Hey, how you guys doing? Oh, good, it's okay. And I had another guy that was either setting up or getting to where he could hear in the right position, so we could hear him talk when I left. So I went in and I go, hey, how you doing? You on probation? Yeah, oh yeah, everything's fine. And you know, and so I patted him down. He didn't have anything on him. And as I walk out, I mean, they have a baby in a stroller. I didn't search the baby because I was a dummy. But so as I leave, the worker or my buddy that overheard him, they start whispering, they're like, shh, just leave it on the baby. He won't search there. So needless to say, we end up going back in and going, hey, pick up your baby. Well, she's sleeping. We don't want to wait. Pick up the baby. Look, either pick her up, we're going to pick her up. You can't make me pick up my... Why are you harassing me? Why are you... Look, move the baby or we're going to move it. But we're looking in that little crib or stroller, whatever the hell it is. So I don't remember how we got the baby out, whether my buddy picked him up or my other, the cop guy was with me picked him up, or they did. I can't remember. But as we pick it up, he's got a big old knife. This dude's on probation. He can't have a knife. Got a little bag of drugs. So he goes to jail. She goes to jail. CPS has to be called. Guess who the bad guy is? Chief gets called in. Dude, this guy Rick Gore's out of control, man. He's arresting all our clients. You got to rein him in. I'm like, what the? Oh, are you kidding me? Am I working in Bizarro Land? Is the Twilight Zone music playing? Are you kidding me? A dude brings a big-ass knife. He's on probation for a crime already. He's violating his court order. He's violating his terms of probation. He's in possession of drugs and knives. He's hiding it under a baby in the office to get welfare. And I'm the bad guy because I arrested him. Is this a great country or what? All right, I got to go move this skunk. Those are my welfare stories. And it just gets me jacked up and frustrated talking about all that shit. I'm glad I'm out of it. All right, we'll leave that there.